Michel Barnier has a Brexit trapdoor as the European Union has been trying to sap London's strength as Europe's financial centre for more than a decade, unearthed reports suggest. Last month, EU negotiators have been accused of politicising the UK's financial services sector in Brexit trade talks, after suggestions Brussels could shut the City of London out of its markets if the UK does not budge on other areas during negotiations. A senior EU official told City AM that the bloc would only grant the British financial services sector access to its lucrative EU markets if it was within our own interests and if the UK shifted its position on key areas in trade talks, such as the EU's fishing access to British waters. The EU source said, just because we have made the equivalency assessment in June, does not mean we will make the decision in June. The UK is requesting access to a massive market, we'll act within our own interests and we will only sign up to a deal that is in our own interests. A spokesperson for the UK negotiating team hit back at the EU's tactics by saying the politicisation of financial services was in no one's interests and the EU knows that. The last round of negotiations via conference call ended last week, with both sides complaining of deadlock in key areas such as EU access to UK fishing grounds, governance, and the so-called level playing on common standards and competition. With less than 4 months to strike an agreement, unearthed reports reveal how Brussels has been trying to get hold of the City of London for more than a decade. According to a 2011 report by the Daily Express, the bloc set up 3 watchdogs in order to oversee the European economy in the hope of preventing another financial crisis 9 years ago. However, many critics feared the new institutions, which officially came into being on January 1, 2011, would increase EU meddling in British business and swamp the City of London with a tide of regulation. The watchdogs reportedly cost EU taxpayers £35 million in 2011, rising to around £58 million in 2014. The bodies employed 150 staff split between headquarters in London, Paris and Frankfurt, with the total payroll rising to around 300 3 years later.